and they don't seem to learn a lesson.
Shops like Walmart, which are
Look,
giving
all
us
this
the
then
answers.
boils down to a case of importing vegetables and food grains.
They come to your table.
I
To
take
slaughter our farmers again.
Well, I don't know. I take a next
if
caller.
producer prices go up, it's good for the Indian farmer.
Arnab,
Also, please
Arnab,
consider
we
that.
just
Take
have
that
to
into
look.
account.
We have to look. Arnab,
Yes,
we have to look at how Brazil managed this. What they did was allow the farmers to set up distribution systems in cities. The farmers earn twice and the poor paid half. That's how they got rid of hunger. Belo Horizonte has set an example on this.
That would be
and that is why the Zero Hunger campaign has done so well.
And I don't know, Mr. Guruswamy, if you've been to the market recently, I welcome you to go with me on the streets of Mumbai. And you will find today that 40 rupees is the price for 200 grams of ginger. Right? And you will find that cauliflower, ladyfinger and capsicum cost 80 rupees a kilo. And I want you to ask somebody, you want to make sure that Indians can no longer afford tori and tinda and cucumber? Tori and tinda and cucumber prices have risen 50%. 50%. You can't say it is because Indians have become rich overnight.
And what are the consequences for the malnutrition of the future? What are the consequences of depriving the Indians of a balanced, nutritious diet? That is the obligation of government, not catching votes with fraudulent acts.
And you asked me about the prices of onions, sir. Let me tell you, onion prices rose 95% in March, which is the highest among food commodities. People should be careful about what's going on. This has to stop. Our next caller is coming in. I think it's Kaushik from...
So let's import onions.
Kaushik from Mysore. Mr. Guruswamy, you won't accept anything I say tonight, but let me tell you, you'll accept what ratings agency Moody says. Rating agency Moody says, because you were going to say Arnab is speaking rubbish. I'll tell you, rating agencies Moody's has said in a report last month that Indian food prices are rising much faster than the global rate. I hope you take them for granted if you don't take my statistics from a Mumbai market at face value.
But don't you think Indian farmers could be benefiting by it?
Sir, I'm telling you, an average Indian household.
If they actually capture the value, the middleman captures the value.
The farmers' prices are falling while the market prices are increasing.
Vandana is absolutely right. The farmer is not benefiting.
Has shot up to 60% difference.
The middleman is capturing benefit.
If you sell...
The farmer is not benefiting. It would be great if the farmer actually benefited from this.
The gap between the farmer's price and the retail price has polarized hugely. Go and do your homework, Mr. Guruswamy.
If Walmart comes, it will not benefit by it.
Sir, please, sir, in the last 5 years, sir, how many more statistics? Sir, in the last 5 years since 2008, let me tell you, food inflation is above 41%, 42%. 42% of overall inflation in the country.
Doesn't know anything about the ground reality.
Our next caller.
In rural areas.
Well, our next caller.
Look at consumption patterns in the
Mr.
rural
Guruswamy,
areas.
many of our viewers...
Who are buying the cars and motorbikes?
I don't know. I'll tell you, you have a different view. The view that I have is that an average
No, they're getting contracts. It is not from agriculture. They are part of the corruption and are getting contracts for bad roads and bad bridges. You don't know how India is functioning today. You don't know 270,000 farmers have committed suicide because of agrarian distress. They are not buying cars. They are dying.
A statistic here that Mr. Guruswamy will be well served to remember. And that point is that the average Indian household spends 60% of its total expenditure on food. This is not a household that is splurging money in the supermarket and occasionally spending on food. It's not a household that is buying avocado and mushrooms. It's a household that wants to afford potatoes and tomato. And I think that there's an answerability to those people as well. Our next caller is Kaushik, and he's calling from Mysore. We're getting calls from all over the country tonight. Yes, Kaushik, who are you blaming? Are you feeling the pinch?
Hi, Arnab. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to talk. When Siddaramaiah, the Chief Minister of Karnataka, announced that 1 rupee he will give the rice. Till today, he has not been able to procure the rice from the market and give to the poor people, BPL card holders.
Yeah.
Forget about that. Central government says 2 rupees mein chawal denge, 3 rupees mein gehu denge. When you're not able to give 1 rupee rice, can you give these things? And can these poor people afford these kind of vegetables to eat? is rice and wheat is enough for the children, for the old people to take care of their health?
Well, thanks for calling, Kaushik.
What are we talking about today?
Well, thanks for calling, Kaushik. I haven't had one person who takes the point of view that Mr. Guruswamy and with respect to him, Mr. Ratan Puri from Srinagar has taken. Mr. Ratan Puri, listening to the feedback, are you changing your point of view? Are you changing your point of view?
I said
Listen,
it may sound
even I
paradoxical,
complain about
but it's a fact
high
that
prices of
people have
vegetables,
much
okay?
bigger problems. Price rise is
But
a bigger
we
problem
are
for
Well, I
talking
think-
here
no,
about
no, no,
what
no,
the
no.
for any
problems
other
are.
Indian.
Why is this happening?
But still,
No, please
they
understand.
don't discuss it because
Please.
the problem is of life and death.
Well,
A
certainly.
place where human life is the cheapest commodity.
Mr.
People
Ratan Puri, again you're going off track on this one, so I'll have to go back.
Yes.
I'm getting another call. We are getting so many calls. I'm extending this program by another few minutes. And as I'm getting this, I'm getting a few messages from our viewers. They are saying
Please
go out
tell
or
Mr.
not.
Puri,
And in the streets of Mumbai today, the prices of tomatoes have gone up 40%. 40% in 2 months. How normal is that?
Yeah.
It's not normal. It's completely abnormal. Yes, Shazia.
Arnab, please tell Mr. Puri that if they fix governance, if they fix basics in our country, which is inflation, which is responding to what citizens need, believe me, there will be change also in many other areas. Also, all the issues that he was talking about, the human lives and all the politics that is done relating to terrorism and other issues, they'll also be dealt with. This is the key issue. And all the politics around it is just a smokescreen to distract from the key issue, which is governance,
The key issue,
which is corruption, which is efficiency, which is accountability, which is transparency. These are the issues.
Yes,
Remy is calling in from Nagpur. The next caller from Nagpur. Yes, Remy, what recipe do you have for our politicians? And is this hitting your household budget as well?
My household budget, don't ask me if I'll say that. Maybe everyone who's sitting there, they'll be surprised. I only wanted to ask a question regarding the topic that is today's topic, that the middle class is being completely ignored. I am completely surprised with the food bill that's coming, and it's going to be like 1 lakh crore burden again on the budget, on the annual budget, wherein you already have a more than 5% deficit, which is already there from the last budget. I am not understanding, and I wanted to ask this from the panel, that how come they say the food bill, wherein they'll be giving 2 rupees a kilo the rice, 3 rupees kilo the wheat, and it will be beneficial for the poor, wherein the money that is being that will come will be given by the middle class, and they are being ignored.
Yeah, it's a clear question of priorities, which I think is a question you're asking. Remy, thanks for the call. You know, eventually it comes down to this.
But I think we should see
bill is
this
neither
1
about
lakh
food
crore
nor
as
is
a
it about
middle
security.
class taxpayers are not as a subsidy to the poor.
The
It's
middle
a
class
subsidy to
taxpayers
agribusiness.
are subsidizing.
Can I make a point? Can I just
Not the poor.
No,
but
can I make a
agribusiness.
point? No, can I just
subsidizing agribusiness.
You see what's happening. Look at the nature of the debate in this country
Absolutely.
before the election. We can keep discussing around predictable issues, but we can, on the other hand, make this issue into the biggest issue that the politicians in the country must address. This is a bread and butter issue, literally. There's no butter in it. People don't have enough money for the basic bread and vegetables. It's a life, it's how do you live your life issue. And I don't know.
It's a life and death issue. It's a life and death issue.
Obviously it is. And
Arnab, a family of four.
yes.
Arnab, a family of four earning 40,000 rupees a month. And believe me, they were showing, I have many friends who live in that bracket, and they were telling me it's so difficult. It's so difficult to even take out money to see a film.
Yeah,
because everything is expensive. Look at electricity, look at water, look at basic prices. It's so tough. And this is 40,000 rupees a month, a middle class average family. And why should middle class taxpayers
40,000 a month
subsidize
and
the
you're finding it
corruption
tough.
of politicians who will just use the slums to get votes from?
I'm sorry,
and then
Mr.
perpetuate the
Guruswamy.
corruption?
Mr. Guruswamy, 40,000 a month in a family of four.
40,000 a ton is 12 times the per capita income of this country.
Yeah, and if they are finding it tough, does it tell you something?
Agreed, but they're also feeling the pinch. Imagine what others would be feeling. when things are so difficult for them.
Consumption patterns have changed. Incomes have changed. Incomes have changed.
Normal.
We are getting a call. I'm going to take one more call. This call comes from Ahmedabad. This call comes from Ahmedabad. The caller from Ahmedabad is Sudhir, and I would like him to put this point of view in Hindi. Sudhir ji, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? मैं अर्नब गोस्वामी बोल रहा हूँ. इस मुद्दे पर आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
सर जी, मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि आपने अभी कहा था कि मिडिल क्लास मिडिल क्लास has been taken for granted. They have been taken for granted by the political parties.
जी.
Hello.
जी कहिए.
So they have been taken for granted by the political parties. तो हम लोगों को क्या करना चाहिए? हम लोगों को वोट करना चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए?
बिल्कुल.
हम डेमोक्रेसी में हमको वोट करना है, हमको गवर्नमेंट बनानी जरूरी है. तो हम लोग क्या गवर्नमेंट बनाना बंद कर दे? ये कंट्री किसी के हाथ में दे दे कि जो ऐसे ही चलाए, चाहे वो बीजेपी की गवर्नमेंट हो या कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट है, सब लोग यही काम कर रहे हैं. जो प्राइस राइज हो रहा है वो हमेशा होता रहता है और हम लोगों को वो इफेक्ट हो रहा है. तो ये हम लोग वोट करना बंद कर दे. पूरा ऐसे देखा जाए तो यूपी और बिहार जहां से ज्यादा वोटिंग होता है, ज्यादा पर्सन है मिडिल क्लास के, वो लोग वोट करना ही बंद कर देंगे क्या? हमको क्या करना चाहिए? ये मुझे इसका जवाब दीजिए.
सुधीर जी, ये बहुत ही अच्छा सवाल आपने पूछा है और इसका
आंदोलन करिए.
या जी, सुधीर जी आपको रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हैं. जी कहिए.
One quick point. To keep a balance and a perspective, yes, UPA has been in power and has not sorted this out. But which major political party actually has championed middle class problems? It's striking that the BJP has thrown its weight behind the food security bill.
It's not a middle class issue. It's a right to food issue, universal. Let's not reduce it to a middle class problem. If the middle class is suffering, the poorer ones are suffering more.
The subsidies.
I'm afraid that shouting louder does not make your point necessarily, therefore, be more valid. I was responding to the caller who called, who raised the issue of the middle class. So I'm not speaking to you, Vandana, but to the caller. And he raised the question of, is the middle class being taken for granted? And my question is, has any major political party figured out that at some point the middle class are going to come out and they're going to vote and they're going to matter electorally? Okay. Will it be in the coming year? Will it be in 5 years from now? Who knows?
I just want to say one thing. Our phone lines, ladies and gentlemen, are completely clogged. I could have taken many more calls. I'll take one more call. I personally apologize to you for not taking your call in case you're still trying to reach us. But the way in which you're responding to our subject today tells me that somewhere the people who run this country must make this an issue. You can discuss Ishrat Jahan, you can discuss any other issue, and of course other issues must be debated and discussed. But this issue too has to be brought back on the agenda. Our last caller is from the city of Chennai, and it is Jeetu from Chennai. Good evening. You're the last caller on the program, and what would you like to say, Jeetu?
Good evening, Mr. Arnab.
Good evening.
It's great watching your show. And I need a minute to talk on the show, and later I'm going to enter with a bit of sense of humor in it. First of all, sir, I think the free schemes are not implemented in the right way, or they're following it. Here there's another bill called the Food Ordinance Bill.
Yeah.
The budget is around for 1,55,000 crore estimated, which I think it's right.
Yeah.
Already there's deficit in it, and because this, the inflation is growing in our country.
Yeah.
The rupee is falling.
Well,
I think there should be disrupted supply of water is there, electricity is there, and farmers are already struggling. The irony is that the farmers he is going hungry day by day, and they are losing out lives, and they are losing jobs. They are not dependent on agriculture. Their children, they are moving out to urban areas because of all these problems. But the basic problems are not being solved here. And I think all the ministers of state should have acted on this together, and then they should have thought about bringing the Food Ordinance Bill.
I take your point.
Other thing is that the Congress UPA 2, I think you were just mentioning that. UPA 3 is not going to be here. I think they were just going to be washed out. I feel there is insecurity among themselves to get free food later if they lose the elections. That's why they brought in this bill.
Well, you know, it's what I get a sense of, and this Jeetu is a tribute to both you and all our callers. I just, you know, isn't it amazing to all our panelists how well informed the Newshour viewers are, how well informed they are on issues of macroeconomics, And does that not tell you today that today's Indian is going to ask more probing questions about why he needs to pay 40% more in vegetable price in 3 months? I think this question is out there. Politicians should hear the way our callers have dealt with the issue and put this right on top of the agenda. To my panelists today for participating, I thank you very much. And this is an issue which certainly we need to look at in great